I recently binge-watched Bleach, Sennen, Kessen-hen, Ketsubetsu-tan, or how normal people call it, Bleach Season 2 Part 2. And truly what a treat for someone like me that grew up watching the big three, namely Naruto, Bleach and One Piece. I watched the ending of Naruto, I hope to still be alive to watch the ending of One Piece, and to now be watching the ending of Bleach after more than 10 years. It is truly a nice closing of the cycle of my teenagehood anime fandom. From watching the fan-subbed Bleach episodes in 360 pixels on Google videos for the none of you that even remember what that is, to now be watching Season 2 with new and improved animation will always bring me joy, because Bleach at one point was one of my absolute favorite anime, and no matter how many seasons it gets, I will keep watching because I owe that to my younger self. Now, the question is this season actually good, or is this another case like the Shaman King reboot of a poor adaptation butchering my childhood? And to that I say, this adaptation is great. In fact, I would even dare to say that this adaptation is better than what I remember the manga being, although keep in mind it's been like almost 10 years, so my memory isn't actually fresh on this. From what I remember, the Quincy arc was Bleach on its last legs. Every so often you'd see an article about how the author was burnt out and wanted to stop Bleach, and you could really feel it in the series. It wasn't necessarily creatively bankrupt or totally crap, but you could feel some exhaustion and some repeating of certain storylines, and also some incoherencies. There were small and big plot points in Bleach in the last arc that didn't make a ton of sense, but we still just went along with it. And this particularly showed in the fights, which is something that people both love and hate about Bleach, which is how the fights usually play out. For some strange reason, in a magazine coming out at the same time as Naruto and freaking One Piece, the author of Bleach never quite seemed to understand how to pull off a close fight, which is very strange to say, but can also be very entertaining. Obviously there are exceptions, but fights in Bleach usually play off like this. Haha, you fool, you will never defeat me because I have power X. Haha, you bigger fool, you will not defeat me because I have power Y. Haha, you fool, I actually did not reveal my true power since the beginning, for some strange reason, so now I will defeat you with power X plus 1. Haha, I was also hiding my true power and now I will defeat you with power Y plus 1. Haha, okay, you guys get the point, but the fights in Bleach are usually a sequence of reveals of BS powers one-upping each other until the author finally decides that it's enough and one character stomps the other. And stomps can be very effective to build up a rival character, but it can get tiring when most of the fights on a show play off like this. And I always found it super funny when Bleach fans try to like power scale every character, and it's like, bro, there is no power scale. The strongest character in Bleach is whoever Kubo wants to win that week. It doesn't make any sense if you actually look at it and try to dissect it from a rational standpoint. Just kick back, enjoy the show, and go along with it. Fortunately, this adaptation fixed, or should I say gave proper pacing to most of these fights, making them much more enjoyable. I'll be honest, most of the stuff I'm watching as if it's for the first time because it's been almost 10 years and I just don't remember it, but there are certain things that were just engraved into my memory, and watching them in the anime makes them flow so much smoother. For example, I barely remember any of the Quincy's, but the pro wrestler guy, that guy was engraved into my memory. That man lived rent-free in my head for all of these years because I remember watching that fight weekly and how frustrating it was because all these cool captains would just throw out their shiny new Bankai and they would just job to this guy. That guy would just stomp them all, and it was so deflating to read week after week. And on the anime, it was more or less contained into a single episode and it flowed much smoother. Still, that guy's ability is complete bullcrap, but it flowed much more smoother and made the fight much more enjoyable. Especially to the people that are fans of the Vizards, Rest in peace, my friends. But truly, that fight to me exemplified how much better this adaptation was than the manga. It made things just much more enjoyable, and although the story is still a bit convoluted, it flows much better and is presented in a much simpler way through the animation and the pacing of the episodes. And keep in mind, if you have recently binge-watched Bleach, I'm going off the memory of perhaps for some things over 10 years ago, so my perception and your perception may be a bit different, as I was reading it weekly, so some fights, like the pro wrestler guy for example, really dragged. The animation was super good for this adaptation, making some characters stand out even more than I remembered, and I saw that some people didn't like the artistic touch of the red sky. Me personally, I loved it, because not only did it make sense in story, but it also gave a different feel to the final arc. The final arc is supposed to be more epic and more brutal, and I think the red sky perfectly fits the theme. And speaking of brutal, this adaptation appears to not be censored at all, which I really enjoyed. It's a lot more violent, and not only does it make sense in story, it also makes sense in a meta way, because the audience that watched Bleach when it first came out is now grown up, and now we can handle a bit more spice. As far as animation goes, I truly can't say enough good things about it. Some gorgeous moments, like for example Rukia's Bankai, who obviously I'm biased towards because she was one of my first teenage crushes, as cringy as it sounds. Second place only to Yoruichi, of course, who I'm hoping to see more in the next part. And obviously the animation also enhanced some amazing moments in certain fights. For example, I've always wanted to see the scene of Zaraki Kenpachi slicing a meteor in half. That scene was engraved in my memory, and seeing it animated did not disappoint. Now, of course, there is also that CGI Bankai, which I will not comment on because this season was awesome, and I have watched Overlord Season 2 CGI, which was so bad it was almost unbearable, and after that I'm completely numb to bad CGI, so let's move on. In terms of sound, I love the sound effects they use for all the wacky powers in this show, as well as the new renditions of old themes from the previous Bleach anime, as well as the new soundtracks, which bang as well. Also, I do have to mention the opening is very Bleach-like. I don't know if the song and opening animation really fit an arc called The 1000-Year Blood War, but it fits the Bleach anime, so it gets a pass. The thing that surprised me the most about this adaptation is how unhinged and absolutely nuts some of these characters and powers are. I remembered some of the moments that stood out to me, like the wrestler guy, I remembered Rukia's Bankai, and also every Zaraki Kenpachi fight, but some things caught me completely off guard. Like the Quincy that is straight out of Parasite, the Quincy that's just a fat dude with a baby outfit pretending he's Cupid, and then the Quincy with the zombie powers, that is disturbing. And most importantly, why did Orihime get a boob job in Ueko Mundo? She came out and her own clothing is undergoing a training arc from all that pressure. Anyway, Bleach's powers and characters are super wacky and creative, and when paired with this new and improved animation, it really makes for a very entertaining adaptation. And watching this new season really made me think about how much I missed Kubo's character designs. Everyone just looks so stylish, so cool. I know this word gets overused on the internet, but Bleach characters truly have drip. They just look so crisp, they just look so effortlessly cool. Even if the story can be confusing, even if the powers can be ridiculous, everyone just looks so cool that it makes everything okay. I'll keep watching Bleach's new adaptations because I loved watching this and I have high hopes for the next few parts. And I hope that this makes Tite Kubo go back to making manga because the man's character designs are truly unmatched. Even after all this time, he's still one of my favorite manga artists of all time. Maybe get a good writer to actually just write the story this time so he can just focus on drawing the absolute gorgeous characters as he knows how to do. This man has way too much talent to just retire with only Bleach, okay? He needs to make more stuff. He's just too good. Because let's be real, unless you are one of the most fervent, hardcore, faithful fans, no one is excited about Burn the Witch, okay? I'm sorry to break it to you, but no one really cares. It's not bad, but it's also not amazing, is it? And if this irritates you in some way, before you type a mean comment, I want you to do the following thought exercise. Put your hand on your heart, Swear upon God, or your mother, or whoever brings the most honesty out of you, and now look me in the eyes and tell me that Burn the Witch is anywhere near as good as Bleach is. You can't, because you know it to be false. Burn the Witch is mid. Okay, enough roasting, back to the good stuff. Bleach has been amazing and I'm hyped for the next parts. I read that they are adding anime original scenes, which is just perfect for me, as the final chapters, from what I remembered, felt a bit rushed, so I hope this continues fixing the pacing issues that were present in the original manga. Anyway, this has been it for me, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next video. Ciao! Why do I have to piss off the Burn the Witch fans? Thankfully, there's very few of them.